Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Or have not enough energy to produce results and to produce success. You even need energy to be happy. You need energy to feel good. You need energy to act. And you need energy to be a good spouse, a good parent. And this is what Paul's diet gives you. And his wonderful book, Diet According to the Scriptures, I hope, Paul, I didn't mess up the title too much.
No, that's it.
That's because as you know, that's a book I fell in love with. That's the first book I read that you sent me, and so graciously, and it just hit me so hard that all the answers are there. And how can somebody believe, if nature or God didn't make it, that it could be good for us? We cannot even use it. We know now that genetically modified food causes cancer. The body cannot deal with it. The entire bacteria, the healthy bacteria in our digestive tract starts to change if we eat genetically modified foods, dead foods, and so on. And this is where illness starts. Illness starts with toxemia, with acidosis. And if you look at Paul's great work and you understand that it's all in the Bible and it's all in the common sense, it's all in the instinct, and just using what you feel is right or wrong, your life changes immediately. And this is what we all need to understand. You can feel better in already 2 or 3 days just by being on Paul's raw food diet or all natural diet. And I have everybody who writes me, we have in our answer letters an automatic paragraph about Paul's work, Paul's websites, Paul's books, and how much I value Paul as a person and as a brother in God, and as a great scientist, and most of all, a great healer.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Coldwell. There's a couple of questions that my viewers are going to want to know about yourself. One being, I have to be honest, I know a lot of people out there that help people with diet, but besides my good friend Dr. Fred Bishy, I never met anyone that has come close to knowing so much about the human body and dealing with cancer especially, which is the highest of all diseases, as yourself. Now, I know you didn't just wake up one day and learn all this, and I read your book, and in your book it says how the medical society has murdered your family with all their therapies and everything else. So can you tell my viewers how you learned all you know right now about cancer? Because it's not something that anyone could just pick up overnight. So why don't you tell my viewers how you learned all of this and why you have such a passion to help people with cancer especially?
Of course, Paul. It started all with my mom having a gallbladder surgery over 40 years ago, far over 40 years ago, when I was 7 years old. And this gallbladder surgery went wrong. So because the gallbladder surgery went wrong, they had to give her a lot of blood. She did not stop bleeding. And they gave her poisoned blood. They gave her blood with hepatitis C in it. So my mom came out of the hospital with hepatitis C, developed liver cirrhosis, and she developed later liver cancer in a terminal stage when I was 12 years old. Since the age of 3, I knew my mom only crying with gallbladder colics from pain that she had from the gallbladder colics. She had 168 gallbladder stones when she finally got surgery, seconds before the gallbladder would have been burst and from the stones. And I only, from the age of 3, I only know my mom being in pain, being in the fear of dying. And then she got hepatitis C, which made it all worse, and then the liver cirrhosis, which was massive inflammations and inflamed tumors all over the liver. And when I was 12 years old, they told my mom she has liver cancer in a terminal stage. She has about 6 months to 2 years to live, and that is really all she can expect. They told her to learn to live with the pain. They told her to make the best out of whatever she has left on time on earth. And there is no hope. Nobody will ever ever recovered from liver cancer in a terminal stage. There is no cure, there is no hope, there is no help. And that's how they sent us home. And every single day, Paul, when I came from school, I opened up the bedroom door to see if my mom is still alive. All day long in school, I was afraid that my mom is dead when I come home. So I opened up the bedroom door and was looking, watching if she's breathing, because very often she was so put down from the painkillers, because the emergency doctor came usually twice a day and put morphine into her so that she could stop screaming from pain. And that was the fear I grew up with. And I also have to tell you that all 7 siblings of my mom had cancer. My father died of cancer, my grandmother died of cancer, even my stepfather died of cancer. And I grew up in an environment of cancer that was so horrific that I knew more about the ramifications of cancer and the medical profession and what they can do and what they can't do by the age of 14, 16 than most people will never know in their entire lifetime. And this is, Paul, where I'm coming from. When the medical profession said, we cannot help, there's nothing we can do, you have to die, to my mom. And we said, there's nothing left to lose. So what happens if we just try things? So as a 12-year-old child, I started to read everything I could understand about herbs, about any kind of acupressure, hypnotherapy, whatever was out there. I read books from healers, and I read of course, the Bible very intensely. And I prayed with my mom, and I'm really not overdoing it. We prayed together at least 4 hours a day, each single day, as long as I can remember. And we were sitting there praying and praying, and I said, God, please help me to cure my mom, or cure my mom, or do something. If you help me to cure my mom, I will spend the rest of my life to help other parents or their children have to go through what my mom and I had to go through. And all my work, everything I'm doing today, Paul, is keeping my word to God, the word that I gave God, because as you well know, my mom is 74 years old today, and over 35 years later, she is completely healthy. Her liver is 100%. There's no liver cancer, no liver cirrhosis, and no hepatitis C. She is 100% healthy. But it started all out with trying everything. The 86-year-old family doctor that we had that was semi-retired, she was sitting down with me, explaining to me how medical connections work, what cancer really means, what it is, and where it goes, and why there is no hope through the medical profession. I traveled around the world when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, and I attended every kind of seminar or workshops that they let me into. Even I went to workshops or seminars for health, and they asked, where's your father, where's your mom, where are your parents? And I said, no, I'm here by myself, and I paid for it. I want to learn how to cure my mom. And nearly everybody gave me back my money back so that I could attend the next seminar. And I learned from healers. I was on the phone with patients that were really, really sick before and all of a sudden recovered. And I tried to find out what makes a difference. What was the tipping point? What cured you at the end of the day? And this is where, when I really got a grasp on it, that it is all about energy. It's all about God's power. It's all about using God's laws. And this is where I'm coming from. We do not need to have complicated techniques and systems. We just need to use what God gave us, because we are built after the likeness of God. And so that means we are perfect. God intended us to be perfect. And then we start messing ourselves up or getting messed up through our environment. And this is where we have to take responsibility and take charge. When I was 14 years old, my mom was still alive, 2 years already longer than she was supposed to live. And then we did any kind of tea, we did any kind of relaxation technique, we did even every kind of like weird stuff out there, which most of these things do not work, of course, but we at least tried, and I always came back to prayer. And I'm going to tell you something today, Paul, that I never told anybody in my life, because you are a good Christian and you are a friend of mine, and I want you to be the first one that ever has heard this, because I've never said this before and nobody knows about this.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.